Welcome to Veterans Perspectives. This is Jeff, your host. We need to talk and have a serious conversation about the company our leaders keep. This is a serious conversation. I have read a significant portion of the Epstein files that have been released. I have watched the news coverage, the media coverage, the speculation, if you will, of everything that has been put out there. And it's simply something that I can't not talk about. And it's time. I'm a father. I have a son and two daughters. And while I've mentioned Epstein before and the issues at hand before, it needs to be talked about in the context of the people that some of us revere and the people that lead and have led our country. For years, we've heard the excuses, we've heard the denials, we've been told it was all just casual acquaintances or charity work. But now with the release of these thousands of pages and images and videos, this wall of silence is finally crumbling, okay? And what we're seeing is absolutely appalling. It's fucking awful, okay? And the fact that it took this long through two presidencies, okay, is it's ridiculous. The fact that children, young girls, have suffered and no one has been brought to task, has been held accountable, is absolutely wild. Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. I'll believe that when my shit turns purple and smells like rainbow sherbet, by the way. Okay? We now have proof that the most powerful people in the world, presidents, princes, billionaires, surrounded a known predator both before and after he pled to knowing that he was doing shit to children. This validated that action. They flew on his plane. They visited his homes and his island. And they did it while children were being abused in plain sight. People like President Trump, we'll get back to him. Don't worry, it's coming. Okay? Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, they have to go give a deposition, a closed-door deposition, to a congressional committee because of this. That's under oath. Bill's a former president of the United fucking States of America. Hillary is a former Secretary of State, a senator, and a presidential candidate. That deposition is scheduled for February 26th. Al Gore is mentioned. Ehud Barak, former Israeli prime minister, mentioned in the flight logs. Howard Lutnick, former commerce secretary. Tom Barak, U.S. ambassador. Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Les Wexner. Andrew Malbotton, who we know is a fucking pedophile. Celebrities like Mick Jagger, Kevin Spacey, Chris Tucker, Leonardo DiCaprio, Bruce Willis, Cameron Diaz, David Copperfield. Of course, they deny it, right? And, speculation, okay? Right? And please note, being mentioned in the files, flight logs, contact books, emails, and photos, does not automatically indicate participation in Epstein's crimes. I have to say that legally. But it confirms association. It confirms association with a known predator. And when you have that amount of power, access, and money, and you validate that behavior, good job. Good job. Let's get back to President Trump. He's mentioned hundreds of times in this last release. Flight logs confirm travel in the 1990s. Recent files show his close associates, Steve Bannon, Tom Barrack, communicated with Epstein well into the 2016 election cycle and beyond. And some of these communications are absolutely disgusting. I'm calling on the president to resign the presidency. I'm saying it outright. He needs to resign the presidency of the United States of America over this. Children, Mr. President. The evidence in these files is undeniable. The fact that he is not being prosecuted by the Justice Department is fucking wild. In 2002, Donald Trump didn't just know Jeffrey Epstein, he celebrated him, called him a terrific guy, joked that Epstein liked women on the younger side. He knew who Epstein was. He told us who Epstein was. The flight logs confirm that Donald Trump flew on the Lolita Express, the jet, multiple times in the 90s, but it goes deeper than that. Virginia Giuffre testified that she was recruited by Miss Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell, while she was working as a locker room attendant at Mar-a-Lago. The president's own club was used as a recruitment ground for a sex trafficking ring. You're telling me Trump didn't know? Okay, that's fine. Maybe he didn't know. His defenders will say that he banned Epstein in 2007. Okay. They'll say he cut ties. But the new files tell us a completely different story. They show that the president's inner circle, people like Steve Bannon and Tom Barrack, were emailing and meeting with Epstein well into 2017 and 2019. If the president was so disgusted by this scumbag, why were his top advisors still seeking his counsel? Why? And some of you are going to say, well, they're allowed to have their friends outside of the president. Not when you're advising the president of the United States. No, you are not. No, you are not. That is a different set of rules. And if you don't see that or realize that, you're wrong and quite possibly dumb. You cannot lead this country when your judgment is this compromised. Period. And this is coming from someone who voted for the president. This right here has put this voter over the edge. Children. He campaigned on releasing these files. And it's my guesstimation when he was told by his Justice Department, hey, Mr. President, this is probably a bad fucking idea because your name is sprinkled all over this. He tried to pull back on it, right? We all saw that happen. Okay? And tried to say there was no list. Kash Patel, the FBI director, there is no list. No one else was on it. Then we get a heavily redacted set of files that shows that there's a whole bunch of people on this fucking list. So what is it? We are being lied to once again by our government. And this time, it is facilitated outright by the President of the United States of America. It is time to resign. It is time for J.D. Vance to assume the presidency for the rest of this term, and then he can run in 2028 and win if he may, and whoever the Democrats throw up against him. J.D. Vance is not mentioned in these files, by the way. I don't know if there's another scheduled release. I'm not aware of that. But he is not mentioned in this at all, in any way. But President Trump needs to go. It's time to go. Not in impeachment. He needs to leave of his own volition. It's time to go. Finish your little fucking ballroom and get out. Again, you cannot lead a country when your judgment is this compromised. A man who jokes about a predator's appetite for children does not belong in the people's house. Again, this isn't just about one man. The rot goes all the way across the aisle. Okay? For months, Bill and Hillary Clinton have ignored subpoenas, and we know Bill's bullshit, right? And Hillary's protection of that bullshit for decades. Okay, they acted as if they were untouchable. Well, now guess what? A closed-door deposition where you are under oath is no joke. But when the threat of being held in contempt of Congress finally became real, they caved. They had to cave because their names are being mentioned. But now we know that Hillary Clinton's scheduled to be deposed. Hillary's deposition's on February 26th. Bill Clinton's is on February 27th. And it's about time. It's fucking about time. The files show that Bill Clinton flew on Epstein's plane not once, but repeatedly to Europe, to Asia, to Africa. Epstein had 21 different phone numbers for him. 21 different phone numbers, Bill? How many fucking burners do you have, bro? Witnesses have been placed on the private island. While he denies it, the sheer volume of connections demand an answer under oath, and he is going to have to do it. The fact that it's behind closed doors is fucking stupid, because he served the public while doing this. The public deserves to have access to that. If you flew on that plane, if you visited that island, if you enabled a monster to abuse children because he was a wealthy donor, you are complicit. Period. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican or Democrat. President Trump, for the sake of the office of the presidency, the victims recruited under your roof, whether you knew about it or not, that's your roof. You must resign. It's time to go. And to the Clintons, the clock is ticking on you. The American people are watching. We have the files. We have the dates. And we're done waiting. And some people say, oh, this is just a distraction to all the other stuff. No. No. This involves children. Children, the ones that are the most vulnerable. The ones we are supposed to protect the most. And we have failed. Those in charge have failed. Not just failed, those in charge have engaged in hurting them. So, Mr. President, I say again, I expect your resignation. And I expect you to look into the camera and tell the American people what you did. Trust me, I won't hold my breath. I'm done with you. I will no longer support you. You have failed. Leave your thoughts below in the comments. Thank you for listening.